Hi, and welcome to Behind the Apps Mobile Marketing Talks, a video interview series brought to you by AVOW that takes you behind the scenes of the mobile marketing world. I'm your host, David Murphy, and each episode I sit down with the innovators and leaders who are shaping the mobile industry, diving into the stories, strategies, and insights behind successful apps. So, whether you're a marketer, a developer, or you're just passionate about mobile tech, you're in the right place to discover the secrets of mobile marketing. So let's get started and explore what lies behind the apps with today's guest, Ferry Noordermeer, Senior Performance Marketing Manager at Wooga. Ferry, great to meet you. Could you briefly introduce yourself and your role at Wooga? What does that work as a Senior Performance Marketing Manager typically involve?
Hi, David. Yeah, thanks for having me over. Basically, what does it entail? As a senior performance marketing manager at Wooga, I'm responsible for budgeting, running multiple UA channels, networks, and so on for Wooga on multiple different games, including our flagship game, June's Journey, which is currently our biggest game as well, but as well running for upcoming soft launch titles, for example.
Good stuff. Now, I understand why your company does so well because I downloaded June's Journey a couple of days ago just to see what all the fuss was about and to do my research. And I found myself getting quite addicted to it. So these games are known for their sort of very rich storytelling. How do you approach performance marketing for such narrative-driven titles?
Yeah, that's a good question, David. As you already mentioned here, it's like one of the most important angles of our games are always the narrative. We're definitely a narrative-driven company. All our games have some version of narrative there. We also really love to use this to attract new players, basically, to give that as our USP, as why people would be interested in the game. Our creatives emphasizes especially that there is a narrative aspect, which could be mystery, detective, intrigue, but then as well the regular gameplay. And this combo for us works really well, and as well gets players really interested in the story in general.
Good stuff. And which markets are key for you right now?
Key markets are mostly for us are like in North America, in Europe in that sense. We're all over the world. Our game has been localized in 14 different languages as well because like as a narrative driven company, people love to have the story in their own native languages, right? So it's available in Spanish, Portuguese, Norwegian, to English, and even in Dutch.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a big investment, but as you say, given the nature of the games, an important one to make.
It is. It took us quite a long time to get to 14 languages. It was not a one fits all approach. Normally, we start with a couple of core languages in our games. Think around English, French, Spanish, Italian. And then later through the years, we expanded when we also expand our UA mix in that sense. So at a couple of times, so for example, in 2021, we added more East Asian languages like Korean, Japanese. Later that year, we also added simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, and so on. So it's
Good
a
stuff.
staged approach in that sense.
So, in terms of the ongoing challenge that all that marketers face in terms of user acquisition, what are the biggest obstacles, hurdles, challenges that you face today around, I don't know, privacy, the cost of getting installs? What are you seeing out there?
You mentioned one of the biggest ones already, privacy, right? So Apple released the Ad Attribution Kit last year as a replacement for the SCAD network. Um, as everyone else, we're still trying to figure out how this exactly works, how it will look like, how do you target on iOS versus Android. It's an ongoing topic and an ongoing challenge. A secondary one is as well diversification. We don't see UA as the only thing in town anymore. We also believe more and more that a more comprehensive approach to marketing is important.
So, what are the channels? What are the tactics would come into play there if you think about diversifying your user acquisition efforts?
So of course, like your standard mix of being on OEMs, search, and multiple different UA networks, but as well, we're more and more as well focusing on, let's say, influencers as a new part of UA that has been growing in the last couple of years. We also are running more CTV, TV, cable TV. So having a more wholesome approach in that sense for sending the message out about our games. Yeah.
And in terms of the influencers, is that a question of finding some of your users that you know to be influencers and just getting them to, I don't know, live stream playing the games and getting some of their followers into it? How do you work with them? What sort of stuff do you do?
So with influencers, we mostly focus around influencers that are a bit on the smaller side, so micro influencers you could call them, where we then mostly focus on influencers that fit our game type, right? As you notice, Just Journey is a very narrative-driven game, for example, very much into mystery. So we also have influencers, therefore, that are more focused on mystery aspects or
Okay.
vintage because the story plays in the 1920s. And that works really well for us. And we have great collaborations with these influencers.
Good stuff. Now, I know also separately to that, you've been testing mobile OEMs, the handset makers. What initially drew you to explore this channel?
So initially, it drew us to this channel because we were not very well aware before about it. We're not as much experienced with OEMs as we were with other channels. But we noticed that there was a growing market there, one that was unexplored, untapped, and where we thought there might be opportunity. And throughout the last couple of years, we have definitely noticed that indeed OEMs are growing and they're becoming more and more important for us as well in our install mix. Yeah.
And when you talk about an install mix, how do the OEM campaigns fit into that bigger picture?
OEMs in that sense fit in the bigger picture because we can get users that would normally might see the ads less, but would like to get a new device and so on. And in this way, how we see it is that we get a higher amount of volume of installs as well for a good price. And we do see that the ROAS for this as well, let's say the return of players that are keep playing for a longer time is actually quite consistent, higher than we initially even expected. And we see great results from it and therefore.
So effectively, it's opened up a new channel of users who were just not seeing your marketing activity previously.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and especially in European markets, we have seen great success with OEMs, where we previously didn't even tapped it. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And I know you've been working with AVOW on the OEM side of things. How have they been supporting you?
So AVOW has been a great partner to us. AVOW was actually for us, as I said, we're seeing quite a good success with OEMs in Europe, and AVOW has been the key partner for us to grow, especially in Europe, these kind of traffic mix. They have been really supportive for us with testing different OEM providers, different devices, and yeah, they have been a guiding partner for us in what we should try out, what would make most sense and even what fits to our product the best, which kind of OEMs and which kind of devices, and which countries would perform for us better than other ones, for example. So yeah, it's been a great partnership in the last, I think, two years that we've been working with Aval. Yeah.
Good stuff. And without giving away any trade secrets, you've talked about testing and, find out what works and what doesn't. Are there any early results, learnings, or sort of outcomes that you can share from the collaboration?
Yeah, what we notice especially is that there's a big difference in that sense on devices out of this collaboration and as well when you advertise on OEMs. Seasonality comes into play, but we also notice, of course, like if you might need to make your bids higher for newer devices, you might see higher CPIs, but it does tend to kind of pay off. So I would say that was one of the insights that we didn't have before, and as well that lower end devices might also be useful for us if we put lower bids, for example.
Good stuff. So just looking ahead, are there any other growth trends, sorry, or other emerging platforms that you're excited about right now?
Oof. As I said, like I think we are mostly now looking as well outside of the standard UA attribution side. Privacy and attribution has been more and more difficult throughout the last couple of years. So we're looking as well more into TV, CTV influencers, as I mentioned earlier. And we do think that, especially for mobile games, casual mobile games, and especially our games that as well have a narrative different approach, that there is a world to win there and where we could still grow even further outside of our standards UA, which also grows next to it. One, we noticed especially that one helps the other one to grow as well. It's not supplementing each other. It's not eating away. It's helping each other in that sense. Yeah.
Good stuff. And final question: is there any advice you'd offer to other performance marketers in the gaming space who are navigating similar challenges to the ones that you're navigating?
I would say yes. I would say always like diversify. Always keep on testing. Always keep on new channels that you haven't tried. I said earlier, 2 years ago with OEMs, that was a new world for us. Now we're testing something else as well next to it, and we're still running OEMs with AVOW. So diversify. Don't be afraid to test, and take calculated risks, I would say. That is my biggest advice for other performance marketing managers and UA managers in that sense. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, it's been great to talk to you, Ferry. Thank you very much indeed for your time. I hope you have a good rest of the day, whatever you're doing. To all of our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in to Behind the Apps Mobile Marketing Talks. Special thank you to Ferry Noordermeer for joining us today. For more insights and expertise on mobile user acquisition and app growth, please visit AVOW.tech, the mobile OEM advertising specialist. I'm David Murphy. Till next time. Goodbye from me. Keep exploring what lies behind the apps. And Ferry, thank you once again.
Thanks as well, David. It was lovely being here.
Good stuff. Bye, folks.